What's this song supposed to be?
I don't know, but they are utterly butchering it.
Sorry, I do love jazz, but I've never trusted an Englishman to play it.
Do you like to dance?
The film tells a beautiful love story that inspired a nation. And it didn't just inspire a nation to be on side when it comes to this couple, but it inspired a nation that eventually gained its independence because of their leader, Seretse Khama, and that's hugely important.
Father will hate him on sight. He's cleverer than him, and he's black.
I would hate to walk away from you, knowing that I wouldn't see you again.
Well, then you must. I miss seeing me again.
Are you insane? White, British, and what about your people?
It was interesting when I first came across the project, which was through David Oyelowo, because I hadn't heard of it before. I hadn't heard of Seretse Khama, I hadn't heard of Ruth Williams before. And for me, one of the things that hit me, apart from the fact that it is obviously a great love story, was the fact that it was a story of African independence.
My grandfather was a king. I am his heir. I have a responsibility to return home to my people. I will never achieve anything worthwhile if I leave my heart here.
I think it isn't just that stories like this have been airbrushed from history, but I think that they have often been told from a completely different perspective. And so what happens is when they're told from a perspective where oftentimes the people who are possibly really the heroes of the story or really the centre of the stories don't get a chance to see those stories told through their gaze, you get a different kind of history. And I think that's the one thing. I think the other reason why you should make any period drama full stop, I think, is that oftentimes they show us how far we've come, but also how far we still have to go. And I think they offer us a measure, they offer us a benchmark for which we can measure not only who we are today, who we were yesterday, but who we might want to become in the future. I think that's really important.
2 decades of preparing you to be our king. This is how you face me.
My home, our home.
Who do you think will accept you? As if it were your right to be our queen.
You will renounce any right to the throne.
I've known David for the best part of 2 decades, or almost 20 years, and the fact that we are both of African parents, we were both raised in the UK, this story means so much to both of us. It means that I have to say that for me, it's his most powerful performance. For me, he plays a man who's very recognisable. I didn't grow up with African leaders around me, but I grew up with African men of dignity around me and of intellect and of the type that we're often starved of seeing on screen. So in seeing David play this role, it speaks very much to my heart. And of course, when I see him, I recognise him, and if I recognise him, it means he's giving a great performance. He's real.
If you choose to marry the leader of an African nation, you will be responsible for the downfall of the British Empire in Africa.
You choose a life of insults and shame.
I know what you're asking, what it means. And yes, I will marry you.
I've always loved Rosamund Pike's quiet dignity. She's a quiet dignity and a real presence on screen. She's luminous, and she, you know, we sent her the script. David had worked with her before on a previous film. We sent her the script. We didn't know how she would react, but once she did react, I knew she would be right. She had a visceral response to the script. You know, a connection that I hadn't quite expected. It was powerful. It kind of hit you the moment you spoke to her about it. So that was the first thing, is that we wanted to give it to an actress who would value the story and who would be as tenacious and passionate about telling the story as we were. And that was there from the get-go with Rosamund.
We have concluded you should be exiled for life.
I can't do this alone anymore.
Find your way back to me, Seretse. Find your way back.
You have to believe in their love. You have to believe that everything that they're fighting for is worth it and that this love is worth it. And you can't account for a dynamic. You don't know whether a couple that you cast together are going to have a dynamic. And, you know, you can do chemistry reads and all of that kind of thing, but you don't really know until the day and finally until the film is finished.
I am ready to serve you because I love my people. I love this land. But I love my wife.